So if we try to load up the game right now, we'll be greeted with Geralt with no textures. Now remember, Blade already has his textures automatically translated onto him because we used his base, but Geralt does not, and we're gonna go ahead and um, add these textures, even though the file contains them. The .xml file is not directing us. All right, so um, let's go ahead and click in to all these files and access the TPF file and access the .xml. So when we open this up, we get a bunch of gibberish, things that we don't really understand, and we need to figure out how to add the file onto it. Thankfully, Filver actually has an automated system for this. Um, but if you know what you're doing, you can add it yourself. Unfortunately, I don't know what any of these random numbers mean, or these letters and numbers mean, um, and so it doesn't make any sense to me. But if you would like to find the fastest way to do this, I would go ahead and select everything that's already there, just so you don't make any errors, and copy it, and it'll save into your clipboard. And we can go ahead and leave. So currently it's like stored into my mouse per se. All right, so we still have all that information. Now we're going to do this the fast way. We're going to click Material, and we're going to go to the XML edit, and we're going to find that XML that we were just looking at a few seconds ago. And so we're going to go all the way back to the H text. We're going to skip that first one and go to the one next to all the textures. We're going to click it, and it's going to ask us a bunch of questions. Now, I'm just going to say yes to everything except to the three textures we added, which is in alphabetical order. So the albedo one was the first one, and the other ones are going to be last. Are going to be these ones down here, the metal and normal. And the reason I'm saying yes to everything else is because we already have the information as to what they are. And if I, for some reason, brain fart, I don't want to have to go back through this whole process and edit them again. But I did tell it that the albedo was, in fact, what it was, and the normal and metallic. Um, there are B's, and I would assume B as in Victor would be volume, maybe uh, reflection. I would just think it would be, and it seems to work out pretty good. I'm just double checking because at first I didn't realize that the albedo one was going to be the very first file. I kind of thought it was going to be in order of what was added, but yeah, so I just click and yes through everything until I get to the last two files. Yes, I've already done this. I'm just double checking. The last two files, I'm going to correctly put those in, and then it's just done. All right, so we're going to make sure we modify it, and we're going to open up the .xml, and it's going to change everything. So we're not going to replace the very first one because it's the albedo one that we added. We're going to go all the way down, and then not the two last ones because those are also ones that we added. And we can delete, and then we can paste, and these will all be correct. So we don't have to worry about making mistakes because we saved the original information. And then you can go ahead and click save, and you're good to go on this end. All the XML data is um, worked on, but we're not completely done now. So remember how we had to unpack the .x or the TPF file? Well, now we got to pack it again. So we go back, we grab that first or that last folder, we pack it, and it just auto replaces it, and it also gives us a backup. And we're going to skip that the XML because it doesn't need to change at all. It's good as it is. We're going to take that texture folder and we're going to grab the new DCX, and we could just plop it into the CHR folder, our mod folder. And we're good to go on that end. And then obviously you pretty much want to do all the same stuff for the L version. You're going to plop the DDSs in here. You're going to auto change the XML, and you can't copy and paste from the H folder because everything in this folder has an L in it. So you got to make sure you copy, um, properly. But you're going to basically do the same step that you did in the H folder and just do it over here. And you're going to repack this folder and repack the whole L folder, and then you'll get a .dcx, and you'll just drop that new .dcx into the CHR folder as well, which is obviously in your mod engine 2.0. Now that everything's good and packed, we can technically pack the CHR, drop it in there, and we could test it out in Elden Ring and see how things are looking.